Good day everyone. I am Engine Cadet Padilla together with Agustin, Coral, and Nathan. And today we will going to discuss the claims of Brunei Darussalam and South China Sea, list of islands and bodies of water being claimed. So let's move to introduction. Brunei is located in Southeast Asia on the northwestern coast of the island of Borneo. Claims a 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone that overlaps with China's 9-dash line, as well as a 12 nautical mile territorial sea and a continental shelf. Brunei asserts its maritime jurisdiction over these areas. Brunei appears to claim the one of the land features within its exclusive economic zone. It was Louis Saref. Two different members of the government have made conflicting claims. Part of Spratly Islands archipelago. Louis Saref. This is Louis Saref. The Louis Saref claim by China, Vietnam, and Taiwan. Brunei may also claim part of the area known as the Rifleman Bank. This is the Rifleman Bank, which is fully submerged as part of its extended continental shelf. Brunei previously had a maritime boundaries disputes with Malaysia, which surround it on three sides. One, two, three. As you can see, this is the map of Brunei in Malaysia. The map also shows the location of the South China Sea. The letter which have not been disclosed related issues between the two neighboring nations, the delimitation of maritime boundaries, the establishment of the Commercial Agreement Area or CAA for oil and gas, and the delimitation of the territorial sea, the continental shelf, and the exclusive economic zone of both countries. So let's move on. Legal basis. Every state is allowed to choose the way of territorial sea up to a maximum of 12 nautical miles based on the baseline established in accordance with UNCLOS. As states in Article 3 of UNCLOS, the entire territory of Brunei is under its authority. This implies that Brunei has the authority to control all action that take place inside the borders. So, Brunei's rights to control fishing operations, including the licensing and the limits within its geographical area, rights to investigate and utilize natural resources such as mineral, oil, and gas inside its own borders, right to build offshore platforms, artificial islands, and other construction inside its borders. It is duty to safeguard the aquatic environment inside its borders. Other countries, however, are permitted to travel across territorial water as long as it doesn't compromise Brunei's security, peace, or ability to maintain good order. Next, contiguous zone. The contiguous zone of Brunei is 24 nautical miles from the baseline. According to UNCLOS, Article 33, although Brunei does not have complete sovereignty over this region. It does have authority to enforce its laws and prevent violence such as customs law. In order to check ships for illegal goods or to stop smuggling, Brunei has the authority to have them in its contiguous zone. Next is fiscal law. Activities that takes place within Brunei's contiguous zone, such as important of export of goods, are subject to its tax regulations. Third, immigration laws. Brunei has the rights to regulate who enters and leaves its territory, including by prohibiting unauthorized immigration. Sanitary laws. By checking ships for spreading disease, Brunei can take steps to stop the spread of illness, even if they take place outside of its territorial waters. Brunei's contiguous zone gives it some control over action that might have an impact on its territorial sea. Next is exclusive economic zone. According to the UNCLOS Article 57, the exclusive economic zone cannot be more than 200 nautical miles from the baseline. This to calculate the territorial sea within the 200 nautical miles that surrounds in coastline. Brunei Darussalam Exclusive Economic Zone. It is its territory to explore and exploit natural resources. This includes the rights to fishing, mining, oil and gas, exploration. Other operations involve the extraction of resources from the seabed and water column. Are all included the category of obtaining and utilizing marine resources, produce energy within its exclusive economic zone. Brunei might use the energy potential of wind and water to produce electricity. Perform scientific research under the international cooperation and data sharing. Brunei is permitted to carry out scientific research inside the exclusive economic zone. Create artificial islands and structure. This includes Brunei's right to erect wind farms, offshore platforms, and other structure for research, resource extraction, or other uses. Oversee the control activities. Brunei has a right to control any operation including fishing, navigation, and environmental preservation that takes place within its exclusive economic zone. It's important to remember that these rights are not unequal. China's 9-dash line claims and Brunei's exclusive economic zone overlap, and other nations have rights in the South China Sea as well. Conflicts over territorial and resources rights have resulted from this. Next is continental shelf. Based on UNCLOS Article 77, like other coastal states, Brunei Darussalam is entitled to use its continental shelf natural resources. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, protect these rights. This includes sovereign rights for the purpose to explore and utilize its natural resources. Brunei has sovereign rights over the seabed and subsurface of its continental shelf. Natural resources. Brunei is entitled to extraction and use of mineral, oil, gas, and other non-living resources. Over 200 nautical miles, if there is a natural prolongation of Brunei land areas as established by geological and topographical data, the country's continental shelf may extend over its 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone. Therefore, if Brunei continental shelf extend further away it can claim a greater region for resource and extraction.
So let's proceed to claims of Brunei Darussalam in South China Sea. As Judel Padilla said earlier, in 1948, Brunei declared their exclusive economic zone encompassing the above water islands and claims it in Luisa Reef. So let's proceed to claims of Brunei Darussalam in South China Sea. So, as Judel said earlier, in 1948, Brunei declared the exclusive economic zone encompassing the above water islands claims in Luisa Reef. So, this is the exclusive economic zone. So, let's take a look at the exclusive economic zone of Brunei Darussalam. Here is the exclusive economic zone of Brunei Darussalam, which means they have the rights in that area. So, Brunei Darussalam has made legal claims in South China Sea. So, there are several key points on how they claim that. So, number one is the territorial waters, or what we call the exclusive economic zone. This. Brunei asserts their sovereign rights according to UNCLOS exclusive economic zone. So, according to UNCLOS, EEZ extending up to 200 nautical miles from the rear baseline, granting them exclusive rights to explore and exploit natural resources within the zone. Next is the continental shelf. Continental shelf extending up to 200 nautical miles to 230 nautical miles.
Now let's move to Luisa Reef. Luisa Reef is a coral formation located in the southern part of the Spratly Islands in the South China Sea. It is approximately 1.5 kilometers or 1 mile in length from east to west and 0.5 kilometers or 500 yards in width from north to south. While much of the reef remains submerged, certain sections emerge during low tide, with few small rocks remaining visible even at a high tide. Brunei's claim to Luisa Reef is rooted in its assertion that the reef lies within the continental shelf and exclusive economic zone, or EEZ. The country's claim is based on the United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, which allows coastal states to claim sovereignty over their continental shelves and EEZs. Brunei's claim to Luisa Reef is significant because it overlaps with claims by China, Malaysia, Philippines, Taiwan, and Vietnam. However, Brunei's claim is distinct in that it does not exert sovereignty over the reef and has no military presence in the disputed waters. In fact, Brunei has maintained its relatively low profile in the South China Sea disputes, preferring to focus on diplomatic efforts and adherence to international law. The country's foreign policy approach is characterized by a commitment to universally recognized principles and international law, as evident in 2020 statement on South China Sea. Brunei's claim to Luisa Reef is also influenced by its strategic relationship with other countries. The country has maintained friendly relations with China, with whom it has collaborated on large-scale projects, and the United States, with whom it engaged military cooperation and educational exchanges. Now, let's move to Bombay Castle. Brunei Darussalam asserts its maritime claim over Bombay Castle a submerged reef located at the northern end of Rifleman Bank in the South China Sea. The reef consists of sandbank and coral formations with depth as shallow as 3 meters. Although it does not qualify as sovereign land under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea or UNCLOS, it lies within a contested maritime area. This area is claimed by Brunei, China, Taiwan, and Vietnam, with Vietnam currently occupying the reef and maintaining a military presence. Brunei claim is based on its exclusive economic zone or EEZ and continental shelf rights under UNCLOS, which it ratified in 1996. Since Bombay Castle is located within 200 nautical miles of Brunei's coastline, the country asserts the reef force inside its EEZ. This grants Brunei sovereign rights over the seabed and subsoil resources, including the potential oil and gas deposits in the area. Brunei also considers Bombay Castle part of its natural continental extension, further strengthening its claim under UNCLOS Article 76. The reef is part of the broader South China Sea territorial disputes with overlapping claims from several states. China includes Bombay Castle in its 9-line claim, asserting historical rights over most of the China Sea, South China Sea. However, the 2016 Permanent Court of Arbitration or PCA ruling invalidated China expensive claim. Vietnam, which currently occupies the reef, has established a military presence on nearby features, reinforcing its effective control. Taiwan, aligning with China, also claims the reef under its interpretational of the 9-line. Despite being submerged, Bombay Castle holds significant strategic and economic importance. The area is believed to contain oil and natural gas reserve, making it valuable for resources exploration. Its location also offers potential for naval operations and control over key maritime routes. Additionally, the surrounding waters are rich in fishing grounds and marine biodiversity, adding to the area's economic value. Unlike Vietnam and China, Brunei does not maintain a military presence on Bombay Castle or nearby features. Instead, it adopts a diplomatic and legalistic approach, relying on UNCLOS provisions and practices. Negotiations to assert its claim. Brunei also supports the establishments of the Code of Conduct or COC between ASEAN and China as a means to resolve disputes in South China Sea peacefully.
Moving on Rifleman Bank. Rifleman Bank is a submerged atoll in the South China Sea, located about 230 nautical miles northwest of Borneo and within Brunei's Exclusive Economic Zone or EEZ. This consists of sandbanks, coral reefs, and underwater features, with the depths varying across its expanses, while Brunei, China, Taiwan, and Vietnam claims right over parts of it. Its fully submerged nature means it is not subjected to sovereignty claims. However, under UNCLOS, it can be considered part of country's continental shelf for resources exploitation. However, a focal point of competing claims, Brunei, China, and Taiwan, and Vietnam all assert rights over portion of Rifleman Bank. The bank fully submerged nature, however, prevents traditional claims of sovereignty based on territorial control.
This is where the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, become crucial. While no nation can claim outright ownership, UNCLOS allows for the consideration of rifleman bank as part of a country's continental shelf for resources exploitation. This legal nonsense transforms the submerged atoll into a potential site of resources competition and geopolitical conflict. The conflict claims highlight the intricate interplay between maritime law, resources management, and national interest in a contested region, making Rifleman Bank a significant case study in international relationship. The lack of clear territorial ownership, coupled with potential for valuable resources, ensures its continued importance in regional dynamics.
So let's take a look in our conclusion on why Brunei want to claim this part or bodies of water in South China Sea. So, number one is economic values. Brunei's economy is heavily dependent on offshore oil and gas production, meaning if they claim this part of bodies of water, they use this as a oil producer, so they can improve their economy. So, number two is almost based. Brunei's claims are primarily based on the principles outlined in UNCLOS. So, particularly in exclusive economic zone and continental shelf that covers this part of South China Sea. That's the end of their discussion.